Welcome back to Real Talk, the show where we sit down with real operators, doing real deals, and break down what's actually happening in today's market. Today, we got Edward Cabrera and Jesse Achela in the building. Now, these two run wholesaling at quite a different extent. They both operate the company called Next Level Real Estate Wholesaling. And we're going to really dive really deep into what exactly is actually working in wholesaling right now, the ugly parts, the profitable parts, and everything the gurus won't tell you. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on the show with us. For those who do not know, guys, can you give us a small intro about who you both are, where you guys based out of, and a small intro about a company?
Hey, I appreciate you having us, man. It's a pleasure, brother. I totally appreciate that. But we're located in OKC, man. We're located in the Midwest in Oklahoma City. We've been business partners since 2022. He's from California. I'm from New York, so you got that Tupac Biggie type of effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, West Coast, East Coast side.
What's up, man? And I mean, Oklahoma's such a great market to be in, for sure. But yeah, we're in Oklahoma City market.
Nice. And how did you both get into wholesaling? Like, and obviously, be honest, like, what was the real reason? Was it like money, freedom, or something to prove?
It's mostly like, of course, everyone has in mind, when starting this, you want the money, you want the freedom, you want the time to be able to do things at your own pace and not have to listen to someone else being on your ear all the time. So mainly that is what got me into it in 2020 is when I started as a real estate agent.
Mhm.
And then fast forward to 2 years later, I started meeting more investors, more people that were flipping, wholesaling, doing that sort of thing. And then eventually me and Edward ran across each other at a friend's place for he would do real estate photography and he knew marketing, so I was wanting to jump into wholesaling at the time, and we ended up clicking really well, and eventually we were like, hey, let's partner up, let's create a wholesaling company, and ever since, man, we've been
We never look back, bro.
rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's been a ride, brother.
Amazing, amazing story. And how long have you guys been wholesaling for, or let's say, been working together for?
Since 2022.
It's October of 2022 is
Yeah.
when we started Next Level Flipping is our
Mhm.
that we wholesale with. Next Level Real Estate Group is our like traditional creative type, but on market.
Amazing, amazing. And if you guys don't mind me asking, can you guys maybe walk me through your very first deal? Like, what exactly like did it look like, and what did
Shit.
they actually make?
Hey, and this is a true story. I'm not gonna lie to you. So whenever we first started whenever we first started the company, I used to work at Texas de Brazil. I used to work at a restaurant. So I
Mhm.
used to play baseball out of scholarship in OKC. That's why I came to OKC. So whenever we started this business, Jesse was like, "Listen, you got to do this shit 100%. It's only plan A. You cannot have a plan B. You got to go all in 100. 100." I quit the restaurant. I didn't have no savings. I didn't have anything. We put like, I think it was like $500. And to the last, I would say like $100. We secured our first deal and we made like, it was like $4,500. But it took like 4 months.
Nice.
This real estate, like you're not gonna make money quick. You're gonna see results 3, 4, 6 months the most. But you gotta execute everything that you learn. But that was, dude, we were so excited, man. 2 months later, we closed another one. It was 15K. It was like I think that was like a pre-foreclosure in Shawnee, like in the boondocks in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And we made like 15K, and then after that, man, it just went
But
skyrocketed.
like one thing is like we were struggling at first just because the systems weren't in place.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we was doing. We were winging it pretty much. And whenever you wing stuff, then you're really not going nowhere.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where with trial and error, we're able to start getting better and fixing certain things. And then we started getting mentorships, and that's whenever we really started scaling our business.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, man.
Uh,
Yeah, and could you guys maybe paint a picture of your operation right now? Like, what exactly would you say is your team size and the average deal volume, and what markets are you currently focusing on?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, bro. So we do run a team under Next Level Real Estate. And so me and Jesse are, operators, and then we have one acquisitions, and then we have a buyer's agent that just focuses on traditional retail buyer leads. So
Mhm.
we generate our own buyer leads. So like these are great for like novations. Like we're pretty much always, no, I was not gonna say always, but we can always bring in a buyer. And we're also licensed MLOs as well, so we can also help people through your traditional financing and everything. But that's in-house. We have a TC from Venezuela, freaking beast, bro. Like the best. Never had to make a contract in the last 2 years, man. So I'm happy about that. You know what I'm saying? So I have so we have him. Then we have like a marketing operator. She also deals with like data organizing, making sure like our callers are getting a list, making sure like we can organize for, closer control is great, bro. It's great to have that. We have them. Then we have another Venezuelan. He lives in Spain. He's our lead manager.
Mm-hmm.
Great appointment setter. And then we have like 6 cold callers that are in Colombia. They pretty much do about like 4 to 5 thousand dials a day for us. So we're
Wow.
constantly running on data. Yeah. So that's our team size. So
So a team of 10 or 11 people.
something like that. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, happy for you guys. And I think it's such an amazing progress, obviously, from 2022 to where you guys are right now. And it's just that it just shows like how much you grind, how much you're staying focused, the systems you're building, and also having the right business partner by your side. It's the key to everything
Oh,
that you guys are having right now.
that's important. I be talking a lot about that. It's like sales and marketing. It's like Goku and Vegeta whenever they freaking sync together, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need that. You need sales in your business and you need marketing in your business.
I mean, like you guys should probably know this because there's like quite a few of you guys, right? Total, like
Yeah.
there's 4 of you guys. It's just like leaving the ego aside, and learning how to work with each other's differences and putting it all together. That way you can actually create something that takes you a lot higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's learn
You
No,
know,
for
yeah.
sure.
No, I 100% agree with you. Obviously, even in closer control. So, like, we are a team of 5 brothers. Then there's me, and all of us, we have like each niche areas which we are specialized in, or let's say which we are good at, and we focus
right.
on those areas, and we all move together as a one unit. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are able to acquire and scale fast. So, I totally get your point, and I think it's like it's an amazing journey. And now let's jump back to your side again. Obviously, the show is about you. So, what would you guys say is your primary lead source right now, and why that lead source over everything else?
Cold calling.
Cold calling. Okay,
Cold
and
calling.
but obviously, like I hear this part. Cold calling is a sort of like tough. Like not a lot of people find success in cold calling,
Dude, the people
and
who want to talk crap about every lead source is all about the follow-up. It's
yeah,
all about the follow-up. You got to constantly follow up with the person. As soon as you get the opportunity to step in their house, you have to win them over 100%. And if they're not going to be ready now, rest assured you got to keep following up. That's the name of the game is follow-up.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
feel like, the most effective one for us has been cold calling for the past couple years. We've tried PPL, which was very successful in the year of 2024. I mean, we probably spent 25,000 and got like 250,000 back. It was a great revenue for us, great avenue. But then the following year, it just kind of sunk down really bad. And that's why it's so important to keep track of KPIs because that's where you really know how your business is doing and how each marketing channel is performing. Because
mhm,
if you don't track those numbers, then you really don't have a business. You're just winging it, like I mentioned before. And that's where most business operators, fail,
yeah,
and you really have to focus into those numbers and really see what's generating the most for your company. That way you know where to dump a little bit more money into.
yeah, makes sense. Makes
You
sense.
know,
Oh,
I
but
mean, cold
yeah,
calling, we have a closer control that is reviving those dead leads that we thought were dead. But, it's amazing to have that Sophia girl always nurturing them and sending them over to her closers so they can be on it. And, another lead source that we did, jump onto again is PPL, which this time around is starting to perform again. We're starting to see it like pick up. And, now we have a lot more avenues that we
mhm,
work with, creative ways that opens the door to a lot more than just wholesaling. We're starting to keep properties that might have not made sense probably a year ago, but now that we have the capital, we're able to start getting more properties and start, building our portfolio because that's something we're wanting to work on moving forward.
yeah. No, no, I have a follow-up question on that side. So I know you guys mentioned PPL worked for you guys really well in 2024, but in 2025 it was not that great. But in
Right,
2026, it's kind of opening up new avenues once again. Like,
right.
what exactly did you guys notice? Like, what was the trend for that thing which is happening? Like, why did it go down a lot in 2025?
I think a lot of people started seeing these gurus talk about it and they jumped on it. That's one of the things. And whenever it's very hot and everyone's talking about it, everyone jumps into that. And that's kind of what I think was the trend. Like you started seeing PPO all over the place. Everyone was talking about it on all social media platforms. And now it's kind of died down. It's kind of more like get into these AI automated systems, get into all these things, which don't get me wrong, AI is great. It's amazing,
Mhm.
right? But you also have to know how to make it work for you. If not, then you're really not going to get anywhere with it. And that's kind of what I think what happened last year with the PPL source.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, I think like when the trend was hot, I think that entire marketing channel got a little too saturated, and I guess a lot of
Saturated.
people were like finding it tough to make money.
Right.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, like, where would you say most of your contracts are coming from? Is it like from seller direct or MLS, on market, innovations, or is it something else which we do not know of?
It would be referrals. We get a lot of referrals, like JV deal partners, that's
Mhm.
something that we're well known for because we have a lot of buyers that, not your typical wholesaler is going to know because it's low key investors that we've vetted over time. And that's the deal, right? Like we've been able to be in the real estate game for so long now that we met so much investors that wanted to get into the game. And so since we kind of held their hand, got them through the hard money, now through the banks. They're sticking with us because they know that they trust us. And that's how we're able to sell them deals that nobody else could. And
Amazing.
and then at the backside, we're able to list their properties for them. So like, creating win-win solutions for everybody is kind of like our motto. That's how we've been able to keep our marketing spend not super high and still be generating quite a lot of revenue.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have like an entire systems, scales, and operations all nailed down to the teeth, and it's amazing. Like kudos.
Yeah.
So,
Because look, like a lot of people fail. I see it is because they try to spend more whenever they don't really know what exactly is working.
Mhm.
And that's a problem because you see people having like a 40% margin, 30% margin. Like right now, our margin is 93.53%.
Wow. And what would you say is the average wholesaler margin for the same?
Well, I hear a lot of like different things, like people spending about, let's say, 300K a year, but making 600,000,
But
you
really
know,
netting like less than that.
but really
And
netting less than that. We see a lot of cash and we invest in a lot of houses. So, we're just dumping
so like 50%,
like 50%,
60.
40% around there.
Yeah. And
What do y'all listen? What do y'all hear from other people? Like, you work with a lot of operators and whatnot. What do you guys are typically seeing?
I think something around the same thing which you guys mentioned, but I do not go that much into the details. But from what I hear, it's I think 62 to 63 around that range. Not, yeah, not a lot, but not like 93% or anything. Like what do you guys
Right.
think? Yeah.
It's because a lot of our deals have came from referrals, like, people
Hmm.
that don't know how to close certain deals, and we're known for that. So people just, hey, see what you can do. Or like, we position ourselves where we work with a lot of Spanish clients. They don't have any Spanish speakers, so they'll bring us the deals, and we have Spanish speakers. We are bilingual, so we're able to close them pretty efficiently.
And I
Hmm.
think that's I think you guys would also agree, right? Like that's where most of the wholesalers like would break down, right, operationally, because they're not able to get enough of net volume and or let's say net revenue in.
Well, they're
And
just depending on one thing. You have to have different options to make money. We make money from flipping. We make money from our rentals. We make money from wholesaling,
yeah.
innovations, retail, from sellers and buyers. So we have like 6 ways to make, 6, 7 ways, or even maybe 8 to make money. So it's just all about having different options. If
Mhm.
it's not working, switch. Don't change what's working though. Keep it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And based on your experience, right? So what would you guys say is the biggest bottleneck in wholesale that nobody wants to talk about? Like, would it be like leads, buyers, or the operators themselves?
The lack of follow-up and not having the balls to close the deals. Honestly, man, I think it's an art closing a deal, but you really got to be passionate about what you're offering or like what you guys can do, because you have to like, you have to share that aura with the other person and close it.
Mhm.
I don't really know any other way to explain it, but you really have to be a great freaking
I
closer.
think it's closing and knowing how to navigate through hard situations
Yeah.
because sometimes there's a lot of title issues that many people don't know how to navigate. And whenever you
Yeah.
know and are kind of an expert on what you do, you know how to go through that scenario in many different ways.
Yeah.
If one way doesn't work, then you try another way. But you never just give up and just say, "Oh, this lead is no good," because the
Mhm.
money is
in
And
the follow-ups.
and the problem, yeah, and the follow-up, but also in the problem. Like we gotta solve their issue, and that's what we get paid for. You know what I mean? So that is really important when it comes down to it. And I feel like that's where many people, especially like you mentioned something about gurus, and there's a lot of people following these gurus. They get these shiny object syndrome and they
Yeah.
jump on it, but they don't know how to execute. They don't really know how to resolve these issues. And that's where gurus only teach you like, well, at least I'm not speaking for every guru, but most of them teach you like the surface, but not really in depth. And that's
Mhm.
where you really start having these bottleneck issues where you don't know how to perform and execute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't teach experience. Every situation is different.
Yep. I think this is gonna be a great question for both of you guys. So who's actually getting rich in wholesaling right now? Would you say it's the people doing deals or the people selling courses about doing deals?
Man, that's a great question because right now they're starting to pop up like no other. So I'm like really wondering, it's like one of those things like, are you really closing deals or are you just talking from your past experiences and not really doing it now? So I feel like it could be a mixture, man. I feel like there's people that are profitable and doing their thing with their wholesaling and also like being creative and whatnot. But it could be a balance. I feel like right now, you just never know. You really gotta talk to the person, see how they operate, and get an actual track record of their business to see how they're actually performing. Because I've
Hmm.
seen a lot of people that I've even called out, hey, they post checks, but they
Yeah.
cover the dates or they do certain things. And I'm like, when was that from? They're
Yeah.
like, stop hating, stop hating. And, maybe I just want to question them, but it's not that I'm hating, I just want to really see what the track record's like.
Yeah. And do you think that this education space is actively hurting new wholesalers, especially when the new guys, like the newbies, when they're trying to enter the market? Is it like giving them false hope, false perceptions?
I think it does, but that's what sells a course at the end of the day. So that's what they do, like driving around in these fancy cars, flying jets, and doing all these other things, And I feel like it's still doable. You just got to get
Mhm.
behind someone that's really knowing how to do it and really can excel you to the next level, because that's what we did. We jumped onto this seminar whenever we first started, and it really helped us scale because they taught us about KPIs. It taught us how to
Mhm.
run and operate a real business instead of just winging it. And I feel like there is people out there. You just got to really check who those people are.
100%. And don't get stuck on analysis paralysis because you usually got to execute on like what
Mhm.
in front of you because you're gonna
Yeah.
learn over time. You're never gonna learn everything at once.
Yep. No, true that. And it's a follow-up. So, obviously, when you scroll through Instagram and you see people posting about, yeah, I just closed a 40K deal, a 75K assignment, like on a random Tuesday. And how much of what people post in the space would you say is real, and how much is it like straight up fabricated to just sell something? Like, what do you think is the ratio?
I think
Just
that's
based on what do you think?
like real or not real.
Yeah, real or not real?
I mean, I think it could be real, man. Like, but at the end of the day, you got to factor in like how much money you spent on it, how much money did it take in order for you to generate that, and that's things that are not spoken enough about. Like what is the actual total cost in order to get you that amount, And that's what's left out. I feel like more people need to talk about that in order for everyone to know the breakdown on what it takes to actually generate that sort of money. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it comes down to that, man. What do you think?
Mhm.
I think the same thing to be honest, because you got costs, you got fallout rate for the month, you got a whole bunch of different, KPIs that you have to look at.
Yeah. And I think you guys gave us like a pretty interesting answer, and I think it kind of makes sense, right? So another part which I want to like actually dive a little bit more deeper is like a lot of wholesalers, like especially they won't admit it ever, but do you think a lot of distressed sellers in the space are like actually being taken advantage of, or because obviously like in some cases wholesalers do not get a good name out in the market, and is the way wholesalers approach them, would you say is it like ethical or anything like that?
You got some wholesalers that know what they're doing, but you got some that don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't, they lock up people at the highest price that,
Mhm.
that they can just to get it, just to get the deal, and they're not able to sell the deal. And at the day of closing, they're gonna be dropping the seller, and the seller's pissed and wasted their time. And sometimes, like, well, all the time you can't really be, messing with people's time because some of these,
Yeah.
sellers are older people that are wanting to downsize, and maybe they rented out a box truck, a little pod for like a day or two. They have money, they're spending, and there's just a lot of things that could go wrong. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So I think it's just bad for just everybody. I think it's just messing up the game for pretty much like, for, other good wholesalers, good realtors. But yeah, I just lack of information, bro, that's out there.
And I feel like, with the advantage with us whenever we come across people is like we also are licensed agents, so we have to do everything by the book is kind of how we approach them. And that already gives us like it gives us more a trusted name and more willing for them to work with us because
Hmm.
we are licensed and we use the OREC contract, which is the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission contract. Whenever it comes down to wholesaling, we use that contract. We don't do anything else but those because we're only currently in our Oklahoma market, and
Hmm.
that puts us ahead of a lot of other people. And another thing goes, like Edward was saying, a lot of wholesalers promise the world, but whenever it comes down to it, they're over promising, and it gives sellers a sour taste of wholesalers on what they're doing, especially with them not being fully transparent on the whole transaction. And, it makes everyone kind of look bad. So whenever someone else approaches them, their wall is up,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where, I feel like it does affect other people approaching them,
Yeah.
especially like when other out of state people are calling them or something like that. That's something that comes across a lot. They're
Yeah.
like, I don't want to work with anybody out of state, this and that. And
Hmm.
that's where we come in and make a difference, and especially if we're not looking to just wholesale, if we can flip it and pay just a little bit more, then we'll do that. If we're able to list the property on market because we are licensed agents, we have the team to do that. So we have different exit strategies on how to go about it, where we have to put all the options on the table for them to choose from, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we come across a lead that wants to sell, it's rare that we ever lose it.
Nice. I think at the end of the day, it's all about transparency and also giving the seller the best experience, right? Because all of
Correct.
this thing is all about your name. Obviously, if you guys give a good experience to the seller, he's gonna refer you more deals later on down the
I
line.
mean, you got to think about it, Dion. Like sometimes it's not about the money, man. Like we've had
Yeah.
to exit our fees sometime where like last minute there was fees that we did not know about, liens that came up, and our whole spread just diminished. So what we had to do is exit the deal and just let the end buyer buy it out and just take it over without us making a penny. But you know what? I'm satisfied because I know I helped a seller out of it, like
Like
a
a dire
problem they
situation.
wanted to get out of.
Yeah,
And that makes my heart happy. And I know that when you do good deeds, God keeps blessing you. So we're
definitely.
all about that, man, helping other people like out of their issues.
Yeah, that's exactly the line which I heard from a lot of wholesalers who are doing amazing in the space because they don't actually look more about the money. They are actually, hey, I was able to help out this woman in a dire situation where she was not where she would have actually lost the property completely without even getting anything. But you guys came in, helped me out, you provided me the right instruction and the direction on to get the best on what I could do, or well, let's say on what I could make the best out of my current situation. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
To
man. God, I'm a big believer. God is just gonna keep blessing the people that do good to others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And let's talk about joint venture deals. So, have you guys, like real talk, have you guys ever gotten a bad experience on a JBD? Let's say like someone locked you up on your lead, you out, or anything like that ever happened? Any bad experiences on the JV side?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we had, man. And I don't like to talk shade, bro. Nobody. I respect everybody's business, but it was with like a New Western company. I mean, you probably heard about New Western, but we had a deal that it was in Tulsa. It was a great deal. And then eventually, the seller just stopped answering us. We knew who it was, but we just let it be. Like we're not gonna be chasing, people. We're not gonna be chasing money. Like we'd rather just keep our circle small and just work with things and with people that is just going to make things easier or for us.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much like the whole ordeal was like this. We contacted someone because Tulsa is like 2, 3 hours away from here.
Yeah.
We are in Oklahoma City, right? And we contacted someone like, out of New Western so they could walk the property. They went and walked, they took photos and whatnot. They got back to us. But then afterwards, we contacted the seller. He was like, hey, someone from your company we're actually under contract. We were like, wait, what? Someone out of our company. He was like, yeah, the guys that you sent out to walk it, they were under contract now. And, that's kind of whenever we realized that you got to really know who you're working with, and man, in
Mhm.
order for you to like start doing these type of deals, right? It was kind of like something we should have known better, prepared for ourselves to be for these type of things, right? But we learn from it and we move on, right? We're not gonna
Yeah.
sit back and cry about it. I do believe that within time you learn and you're able to fix things that you needed to tweak anyways. It happens for a reason.
Yep.
And other than that, most of our JV deals is partners that we really like to work with. And another thing is like we're very transparent. If we're gonna wholesale it, man, we'll be like, hey, we're gonna sell it to our end buyer, right? Another thing I do come across a lot is like we barely ever do any JVs on our own deals, but the times that we have, like back in the day, is like people would approach us and they're like, "Hey, we're the end buyer," and then when it comes down to it, they weren't really the end buyer. So, not having that transparency sometimes affects because there's like a daisy chain going on, and
Yeah.
and if one thing goes wrong, then it messes everything up. So transparency in those type of roles is really crucial to keep everything very organized and put together. That way we can land as like successful closing.
Yep. And any advice on someone, let's say a brand new wholesaler, if he wants like JV for the first time, like what would you guys say? Isn't like a piece of advice for him or her?
I would say definitely reach out to someone that is in the space of wholesaling, but that that is reputable. I would ask around at least three, four references about that person you want to wholesale with, and also get something in writing, man. It's always important to get a document in place for a JV agreement saying that you're going to split it 50-50 or split it however you want to split it
Hmm.
up, right? But get a document in place. That way you don't get ripped out of your money. And as long as you have a contract in place, then, and you have an agreement with the JV partner, then you shouldn't have any issues. You just got to word it right because sometimes people try to word it in a way where, like, even if they don't find a buyer, they still want to get paid because they were a JV partner in the game. So you definitely want to make sure you have
Yeah.
the right language in there.
Yep. Yep. I think that's amazing, solid advice. And I'm pretty
Right.
sure we're gonna actually clip that part really well because I think that's something which a lot of people actually want to know about. Because we do get a lot of new wholesalers, like people are just starting out in the game. And obviously we also want to make sure that lessons like these, which we learn from like experts like you guys, are actually going out to the people out there. And they are also well acclaimed and knowledgeable about what they should know and what they should be aware about doing deals in the space. Now, let's jump into something else, AI. So obviously, you guys are hearing that. No, you know what? Like AI is automating lead follow-up, seller conversations, even offer generation. Like now, my question is: do you guys think traditional acquisition rep is, I don't know, maybe go obsolete in the next 3 years?
I think AI will replace average reps, but they will not replace closers. I really do think that, you have to really get intimate with, your client. Every It's going to be very hard for like AI to really like talk to a person about, let's say if they're going through like a family loss, let's say if they're going through some sort of medical situation. People just want to, be heard, and AI really can't do that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, got it. Well, guys, this has been an amazing, and on top of that, I would say a very informative session. And since we're almost towards the end, we create a sort of like a small game. So it's sort of like marketing channel tier list. So I'm going to be asking you guys. So basically, how this thing works is this part of the show, we're going to be putting you guys on the spot, and I'm going to be throwing a list of marketing channels at you guys, and I want you guys to like tier them, like S, A, B, C, D. So S would mean like, you know what, spends money, non-negotiable. A would mean like strong, most operators should run this. B would be like, you know what, solid, depends on the market and the operator. C, situational. D, you know what, dead broken, waste your budget. Don't even look at it.
What is it? S what?
S would be the best. You know what, this prints money, is a non-negotiable.
And then what's the next one?
A, B, C, and D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, you know what? Let me just cut this part and let me just do this again so that we So it's got to be what you call like editor, right? So I'm going to just run this part again, okay? Now, guys, I think, guys, this has been an amazing session, and you guys shared a lot of things which is pretty informative and really knowledgeable, especially things which a lot of new wholesalers and investors should really look at, especially when they are entering in the RE space. Now, we do the small show, guys, towards the end. So, Edward, Jesse, during this part of the show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting you guys on the spot, and I'm going to be throwing you a list of marketing channels at both of you. And I want you guys to like tier them, like A, B, C, and D tier. S would be, sorry, I'm going to just come. And I want you to tier them as S, A, B, C, and D tier. S would be the best, D would be the least. Like, you know what? Dead, broken, don't even look at it. Let me know when you guys are ready, and let's just jump right into it.
Ready.
Okay. Cold calling.
S.
S.
Okay. SMS, ringless voicemail.
B.
B.
PPC, Google Ads.
Ooh, I think is I'll say B. You get good quality, but it's expensive.
B.
B.
Okay. Direct mail.
I would say C.
Yeah, C.
Okay. Facebook, Meta Ads.
B.
B.
B. YouTube content plus inbound.
I'll say S, to be honest. It can get expensive. It's like in between S and A.
But more inclined to S. So
I'll
let's
say
put it at
A because it's costly.
okay. Okay. SEO or organic search.
S for a fact.
S is really good. Yeah.
Yep. Door knocking, door to door.
Shoot. C.
I'll say
Okay. Referrals and JV.
A. S. S
S.
for sure.
S.
Agent or MLS outreach.
I'll say S. That's good.
Okay.
Mm.
And finally, bandit signs.
I'll say C. It can work.
Yeah, I would say C as well. I mean, we've never really done bandits, but couldn't really tell you than that.
Yep. And obviously, like I know I have listed a couple of channels from my side, but let's say if there's one channel you guys could maybe one other channel which you guys maybe could put in the D tier that most wholesalers are still aggressively spending money on right now. What other channel would you guys be putting in D tier?
I would say I hear a lot of things on mailers, like, high spend with low return. But then again, I would say, yeah, I mean, I would say I would go with that. What do you
Okay.
go?
Can you say your question one more time?
So if there's some other channel which you can maybe put on D tier, let's say, you know what, this is
D tier.
absolute shit. Yeah, D,
Um,
absolute shit. Don't even look at it. What other channels would you say you can add over there?
I'll put Mailer, bro. Mailer will be my last option. It's expensive. I know people that are paying 15 grand a month on mailers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. This has been an amazing session and also helping us rank the marketing channels from the best all the way to the worst. Well, guys, tune in for another episode for Real Talk, where we're going to be bringing in real operators, doing real deals, and actually talk about what's actually working in the market and what's actually not working. This session has been pretty great. A lot of informative session we both have learned during this time. And obviously, guys, if you feel like this show is something which is of value to you or maybe to your friend, share it with your friends and family. Jesse, Edward, once again, thank you so much, guys, for being on the show with us.